been so long, really, not really, that I've heard you say that or whatever that is.
Say that,
sing that, scream that, whatever.
Facts.
But welcome everyone to season 2, episode 1 of Soulful She. I am Daphny Emily.
And I'm Eerees Iris.
And what else do we say after that?
And this is Soulful She.
And we are two bodacious beauties unraveling our truth on identity, mental health, empowerment, and fashion through conversations from the soul.
And I am super excited to be back. But at the same time, I'm also... I feel like we've been cooped up. Well, I've been cooped up in the same apartment for so long, working remotely, that like conversations are virtual. So like having conversations in person and then deep conversations I haven't had in a very long time.
Me too.
So
I feel weird being outside. I work part-time outside in a store. Mm-hmm. So it's like I see people, but I still feel weird getting ready to be outside. Yeah. I feel like I've been so cooped up and not talking to people that I'm cool with or close with. Mm-hmm. Or like we talk, but it's just so short. And it's like I'm busy, but I'm still cooped up. It's just a lot. But yeah, I am great. I am happy, and I'm excited to be back here with Iris especially, and then with all of you. So I'm happy. We're in season 2. Yes. So that means we got to be better at this, which we are, though. We are.
Yeah. It just give us like 2 more episodes.
Yeah, we got to warm up again. You know what I mean? So season 2, though, is going to be better. We promise. Yeah. And I don't break promises.
But as we always start Soulful She, we start with let's keep it real quick, you know? So again, keeping it real quick is a topic of discussion where we just share how are we stepping into the space, what are we bringing from the day that has happened, from the week that has happened, from the weekend, that you know that you're not going to be able to remove from the conversation or from how you're feeling today.
Right, and are you looking at me to like keep it real?
Keeping it real quick.
Keeping it real quick. I haven't said that in such a long time. Excuse me. Life is good. It's positive. It's of course not where I want it to be, but I am just being more grateful, trying to have more gratitude, trying to be more positive. Which, like, I've been trying to tweet, but my tweets are always, like, talking shit about something. So, like, I just delete them. So, honestly, if you see me tweeting, give it about 3 hours tops before I delete it if it's not positive.
You click on it. Tweet does not exist anymore.
Oh, do you do that? Yeah. So, because you have the notifications. Yeah. I just be deleting these tweets. Like, I just want to be more positive. I just want to be expressive in that way, and my initial reaction is to talk shit in some way, and not always negative, but when I feel like it kind of can go that way, I'm deleting it. And that's me working on being more positive and bringing that into my life and also to other people's lives, because I just don't want to be on someone's feed always talking shit, even if I'm trying to be funny. But it gets to a point that it's not even funny anymore. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be that friend that pulled off her friend's eyelash in that video.
Oh, like I
make jokes, but I'm not a hater. So I'm not gonna like be a hater. I don't want to do that anymore. I did it for jokes. I would never do the eyelash thing because we would fight. Like I would never do that to anyone. And the way that happened, like that was some hating ass shit. But like
she was plotting. She was probably plotting before the video was even thought about.
Yeah, or like the 2 little girls on the birthday cake, blowing out the birthday candle.
After she blew it out, she's like,
well. So, like, I make my jokes, I can be sarcastic, I can talk my shit, and I'm gonna do that, but I just am trying to rework in a way that I'm definitely not trying to offend people or make people feel away. Yeah. And I hate the excuse of, I was just joking, when
behind every just joking, there is some truth.
And I don't want people to think that of me. Because if I'm just joking, I want to be funny, and I don't want it to be like, well, it's this half truth in there. Yeah. No, so I'm not a hater, I'm never a hater, but I be talking my smack. So, I just want it to be reworked in my life, that it's definitely not directed to anyone that makes anyone feel like
it's a teasing
hate. Yeah,
banter type of
right. So those who can hang, and those who can't, I'm not gonna do that to you. It's just how it is. And I'm just trying to be all about love and positivity and doing better. I'm still broke though. waiting on that third stimmy, trying to have it hit before vacation, but clearly they're taking their time. And another thing, I feel like when it comes to this whole process in the government of deciding the stimulus checks, right? Every time a new check is supposed to come out, there's an extra step that all of a sudden needs to be approved. Last time, it just needs to go through Congress, approve, and then get to Senate, and have Senate finally agree, since it was majority Republican, finally agree. This time, we are majority on both parties. By the way, a whole election happened, y'all. Biden won. VP Kamala's in the House. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in so long.
She's like, let me catch up.
You know, Democrats have control of Congress and the Senate, the House and the Senate, Congress and the House and the Senate, and all that amazing stuff. Amazing right now, but they got work to do and we're watching. But outside of that, so the stimulus check, I feel like last time it was because Senate wouldn't let it go through, but now we have the majority, and we have the tie-breaking vote from Kamala.
Yes.
Which she did the tie-break for. Okay, so where's my check? But now I gotta go through another step now. And I'm like, where's the rule book?
Yeah.
So I can follow these steps, because I'm tired. I just want a check. I'm broke.
You're like, what's going on? My money? Where's it at?
You know, and I'm grateful because I am working, so I can't complain. I'm grateful. I'm working. I have 2 jobs, so I'm not complaining. I'm trying to be funny, but at the same time, cutting my check. I'm just saying. I still fall under the threshold, so it's on direct deposit too. So that's me right now.
This is you real quick.
Yeah, I try to make it fast, but
you're like, oh wait,
it's been a while. I just want you guys to make sure you know and understand everything.
Where we're at right now.
At least I want y'all to know where we are at, because clearly with the government, they don't know where anything is.
Where the check's at.
It passed the Senate at this. It was tie broken, so where's that at? But whatever. Anywho, still grateful.
Don't forget, I'm grateful. But where's the check? Taking it real quick. I love this. I think I'm in that same space as you are, in the sense of I think I recently was having a conversation with our awesome videographer, and
she's alright.
We were talking, and I was updating him on me, and I was really reflecting on the fact that, like, a lot of things have been happening, but more internal things that are evolving and changing and growing, and so I think I'm in a space where not everything is happening outdoors, or not everything is happening where you can see change, but things are happening within, and habits and just mindsets are moving and shifting in a way so that when things do change, my mind and how I am is already shifted so that the change is coming beautifully and smoothly. So keeping it real quick, I'm in a space where I'm just like really taking in words of affirmation and making sure that I'm affirming all the things that I need to be affirming to be open to receive. Like, I'm in a space where, like, I want to be open to receive because I also need to be open to give. And so, like, that's where I'm at, of just, but then also in need of a vacation, because I have been cooped up in this space and working day and night, and specifically because I'm working remotely from my home, sometimes I don't even realize that I'm still on the computer working, so it can be like 6 p.m. and I get out at 4.
Right.
So I'm just like, where's the separation and everything else that's happening? Like, a lot of times where we hear things of like, oh, you know, this downtime is a time when you need to be working 3 times harder. This downtime is a time that you need to be, you know, that business plan, work on that business plan and do that business plan. But, like, really, we're trying to survive. Like, we're in a space where we're dealing with things that we aren't necessarily used to dealing with.
It's a whole new world.
Exactly. And so there's so many things that are going on that you can't physically expect yourself to be moving the same way that you were moving or working at the same capacity work-wise that you were working with before. So it's like, I've also been keeping it real quick. I've been very, very, very gentle with myself of just like, if my body tells me to calm down or if my body tells me to like do something, I'm listening. Even if it feels that, even if the guilt of not moving at the speed of light is hitting me, I'm like moving it away still in a guilty way, but like I'm still like moving it aside and saying like I'm working on whatever it is that my body needs right this moment. So keeping it real quick, I'm being gentle with myself. I need a vacation, and I'm open to give, to receive in the space of trying to do better at that.
Amazing. Remembering life right now, I drink wine at home, like whatever. But having tequila for the first time a few days ago when we were together, I was like, wow, I'm enjoying this.
Remembering what it
I got a little like woozy and I was like, wow.
This is what it means to be a little...
Yeah, and then this would usually lead to excitement in some way, like dancing, and it's like a little bit over a year after we went to that R&B thing.
Yes.
And that's one of the last times that a lot of people were in one space.
Yeah.
And it was the greatest time ever. Surrounded by people and fun and tequila.
I had so much fun that night.
Yeah. So, keeping it real, that too. But I'm going on vacation soon. So, I'm trying to lay low, but it's honestly just to get away from work and the constant I don't have a routine, even though I need one. Yeah. But just the constant routine of saying I need a routine and all of that. I just can't wait to step away from that. Yeah.
Nice.
But I'm grateful.
Yay.
I'm also open to receiving. So
you're like, whatever you want to give, like that check.
I'm taking not whatever you want to give, because you be trying to give out some shit. I'm open with what you ask for. Exactly. I'm open to receiving. I am open to giving. I am also working on affirmations. I did it for about a week, especially for my root chakra, because that's where I realized where I was off. Fell off, but it's a constant work in progress.
The thing is not the path is not linear
at all. I can't even walk in a straight line or cut straight with scissors, so it only makes sense.
Well, you were gonna say something?
I was.
Okay, go ahead.
You were gonna like transition too, right? Yeah. Me too. So like being here and being this episode and kind of catching up and keeping it real quick, we just want to work our way to like the meat of the whole thing and the conversation of the soul, and setting it up. Since today we are filming, today's the 8th. Shout out to my sister Michelle, it's her birthday. Whoop whoop. My brother's birthday's in 2 days too, Junior. His birthday's in 2 days. But by the time this drops, it was going to be the day after Valentine's Day. And it's very much February. It's very much that time of year. The way we've been cooped up, if we've met people or we still have our people around, because, you know, quarantine has been a struggle for some relationships. So bringing in some positivity, some joy, and some love from the whole ideal of Valentine's Day. We want to bring different conversations and topics about it to y'all, and kind of have some fun with it, and maybe talk some shit if that comes up. But
hey, listen, we're open to receiving and giving all sorts of stuff.
Not all sorts of stuff. Only positive and great things. Careful what you wish for. All sorts of amazing, beautiful, happy, positive things.
But like, you know, if other things come in there too where we have to talk shit, like, you know.
I mean, that's us releasing all. You know what I mean?
Giving.
It's releasing into the universe the things that we no longer need, so we make room for the things that we want to welcome.
Ooh. I see you.
Man, lyricist sometimes. But, so from Conversations of the Soul, you want to jump into it?
Sure. When I was thinking about, okay, our first episode is going to be in February. It's going to drop the day after Valentine's. Why not talk about love? Specifically, since somehow, some way we do talk about love in our show. So, why not focus a lot on it? And when I was thinking about it, I also didn't want to just talk about the the lovey-dovey, you know, romantic stuff, but also really bringing in the information of what is the fantasy love versus like real love that's been going on, specifically as I would like to say young woman. We have evolved since we were little, and the idea of love that we had when we were little to now has definitely changed. And not only that, but the idea of romantic versus platonic, and then also bringing in the various different loves that are out there, because I think a lot of times when we talk about love, we go straight to or assume that it's just about romantic love. When there's platonic love out there, when there's family love, like there's all sorts of love. Like the topic can be delved into so many different ways. And then also speaking to knowing me, my number one quote or phrase that I always say is, you are who you are today because of your past. And your past is your parents. And the love that you see from your parents and the love that you see from your grandparents. So it's just like also
if you saw love with your parents,
whatever type of relationship that you saw. But speaking to that, and I wanted us to delve into love in all the many facets that it lives in, and I wanted us to discuss all of that. And so I'd love to like bring it back all the way to when we were young. So Daphne, what was love like for little Daphne? Versus now too.
So my personality, I've always had my shyness, whatever, but my personality since I was little, when it came to like, I'll say romantic love, was always like, get out my face, like
that was love. Wait,
I'm gonna get there.
No, just gonna go.
But before love, just in terms of romance or anything, because when you're young, it's not really romance. But when I was a little kid, when people would bring up certain things like marriage and stuff like that, like I remember I got into debate when I was like 5 or 6 years old with this kid that like his mom and my mom were best friends. So he'd be like, I want to marry you. And I'm like 5 or 6, and I'm like, I'm not ready for marriage. Like, we're too young for marriage. And he was like, what's marriage? I'm like, marrying someone, you're in a marriage. And he's like, no, that's not. I just want to marry you. So I got into this whole debate about how, first of all, you don't even know what marriage is, but you want to marry me. And I was like, first of all, let me prove to you what marriage is. So I went to our parents and was like, isn't marriage mean like you marry someone? And they were like, what are you guys talking about?
Why are you guys
right. So like, since I was young, I've always been like, if you're gonna be about it and talk about it, be about it and be correct. And that's interesting because you mentioned like love you saw through your parents and your grandparents, and I was like, interesting, because that didn't exist for me. My parents didn't love each other. My parents actually never even dated each other. I am what you call an accident, but a great one. I tell that story and sometimes people feel weird, and I'm like, I find it really funny, and it's really real. Like, it happens to people now, and it happened to me when I was young. People enjoyed themselves, and whoop, 9 months later, y'all gotta raise somebody now. And that's what happened in my case.
Y'all gotta raise somebody now.
I'm not sorry, because I'm here. But in my case, I can't say that I saw love within people that were around me.
Okay.
My mom's dated. My mom's one thing about my mom that I'm very appreciative of is she never let anyone or any man walk all over her in terms of love. She didn't tolerate any bull. Sometimes it could be a little extreme, but it's okay, because what I respect and what I learned from her is that you know your worth and you know what you're gonna allow, and you're just not gonna allow bullshit, especially in a relationship. So I definitely learned that from her.
That's amazing.
And in terms of my dad, he's also someone that's never really settled down. He's dated a lot and stuff like that, but from him, he's very big. He loves women, but he loves strong women that hold it down for themselves.
Yeah.
He raised me and my sister in a way that we don't tolerate shit from anyone either. Love yourself. You guys are beautiful. You guys are confident, and no one can do bad to you. And if you don't know what to do, come to me, and I'm a guy. I know all the tricks of the trade.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that savagery comes from me, that me and my sister have. Really does come from him, because we've just known our worth and known what to deal with and what we don't want to deal with, and just being like, I can do bad by myself. I honestly don't care. So that's what I've gotten from my parents in terms of romantic love. How I saw love now is very interesting because now I'm thinking about it. Like, I used to really adore rom-coms and that kind of love on TV. Yeah. So I guess that's where I learned to love.
Okay.
So seeing the movies where they just, whatever happens, the story begins, they meet each other, whatever. They end and they're just like running to the airport and catching them before they get on the plane and, oh my God, I love you, making out in front of no TSA, none of that shit, just making it all the way through boarding, talking about I love you, don't leave me, and making out. So like that's the love that I learned in a sense, so that's what I saw. So I always like adored that in a way of not that I wanted that, but just like
what you saw the
right
time.
So like after my first boyfriend, I was 14. I was in that mindset of just one, barely kissed the guy, poor guy. Didn't hold his hand because I was real shy and whatever. But like for me, it was like just really just hanging out with him was what was good for me. And then from there, growing and learning about love and ultimately falling in love with him. But I probably in the back of my mind still had that understanding that like I want that rom-com type of feeling.
Okay.
And I think I had that when you're little and you have your first boyfriend, you kind of have that feeling. Or your first relationship, like flutters, butterflies, or that. As you get older, that shit fades away and your love is kind of different. It's like good and it's positive, but you learn that the reality of love, like Tina Turner says, what's love got to do with it? A lot of times you learn that your relationship is built on more than just the idea of love.
Yeah.
So I've grown into knowing that I can love you, I do love you, I can adore you, but there's so much more to it than running through airports and making out. And honestly, I would never run through an airport trying to catch somebody.
Really? You're gonna tell me that if like I don't know.
I better not see nobody running through no airport for nobody. Like, you should be having this conversation before they get to the airport.
Maybe it's that point where like it finally hits you when you're in the cab and you're just like, shit, all along, it's been him.
And now we're talking about a movie, and that's the thing, like, it's like I've stepped away from that because that's a movie, and it's like if someone is in my life and I do love them, I need to acknowledge that or learn that, and maybe I get my aha moment in the taxi, but like...
I'm texting you?
But if we are in this relationship, we are building something or really getting to that point that we do fall in love, like, I do not need to be chasing you through the airport. I should be with you at the moment, like... we've already had this conversation and established it, and we know this. Like, there's no playing games and letting you run away to now I have to chase you. Okay. It can happen. I'm not saying it can't, but like... Or, like, if I really fuck up and I really want to be with someone, like, I'll do what I need to do to fix it. Yeah. If it's something that's healthy and, like, I know I tripped up. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, not a toxic relationship. I'm chasing somebody because of the thrill of it. But, like, I'm in a relationship. I do fuck up. People make mistakes. Yeah. I could lose a person. If I really want them, I'll work for it. I will work for it if I want them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But, like, again, at that point, I shouldn't be running through an airport. But that's me probably just assuming, and maybe that day will come, and you'll probably catch me on someoe's video getting arrested trying to hop over TSA. So
but please, no.
Where they grab the little like go-kart in the airport, and they're like, "Move, get out of the way," and like get me to where I need to go because I need to tell the person I love that I love them. Yeah, but yeah, it's so weird. I can't pinpoint where love was a thing for me other than like seeing it in movies. But when it comes to like people that are around me,
yeah,
it wasn't like I'm gonna marry someone. I mean, I guess everyone has those ideals, but I wasn't around it. It was like infatuated with like I don't have anyone that I grew up with that was like, oh, they have relationship goals.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
I will say as you were speaking, I felt the pouring of love that your dad gave to you and your sister. Sorry, sister.
I mean, I do want a daughter, so I won't knock on wood, but like just not yet.
Sister. Sorry.
Remember, we're receiving a lot of things right now.
Woo! But when I was thinking father and daughter. Yeah. So, but yes.
Good.
So basically, like, when you were talking about, like, you know, my dad taught us about this, and if we had anything, you said to come to him. Like, I felt the love, even just through the conversation that he was pouring onto you,
right.
to be able to love yourself
right.
enough to, like, know your worth. Because, like, knowing your worth also speaks to the fact that, like, somebody loved you enough to be able to remind you that, like, you know, outside forces are not going to dictate who you are, how you love, how you are. And I think that even till this day, there's people that are still struggling with that.
Right.
So it's just like, you didn't see the ideal love, but you still received it in so many different ways.
Right. And I can't say from that I haven't learned bad habits that I had.
Mm-hmm.
I've had relationships that were very healthy, very positive, and I've also had relationships that I allowed to be toxic in a sense. Like, but being very much acknowledging that it was toxic and still dealing with it, but not like, and this kind of, it's been a lot of rambling about me and love, because my love that I've learned apparently is confusing, and I'm discovering all that I didn't know or hadn't known when I was younger. But what about you? I went into, like, the romance realm. We can jump into everything else after, but for you, where did you start real love versus fake, I guess?
Yeah. I would have to say that, like, love came very, very early on. And it came very early on with my family. Like, everybody knew me when I was little as, like, my grandmother's, like, thigh. And I would go to her house every weekend and sleep over. And, like, I adored that woman. I still adore that woman. And it's to the point that, like, if she said jump, I would jump and then jump twice. Mm-hmm. So, like, I fell in love with my family. I fell in love with my mom, and I fell in love with my grandmother. And my mother spoiled me, like, because I was her first child, and at one point her only child. Like, she spoiled me rotten. And so, like, when it comes to love, a lot of people don't fully know that, like, some of the ways that I am is because of the way that my mom loved me. So, like, I love to give gifts because she would buy me gifts all the time when I was little. Like, every single time there was Valentine's, even if I didn't have a Valentine, I had a Valentine, because my mom bought me, like, teddy bears, chocolates, the whole array of, like, I never felt not loved at any point in time with my mom. And then when it comes to rom-coms, like, yes. Are you kidding me? Till this day,
I still feel great.
yes, till this day, rom-coms and romance is just my top #1 movie. And I even have to do, like, when I'm usually in talks with a gentleman, like, I always have to be like, okay, I'll watch one suspense movie if you watch one rom-com romance with me, because I can watch a whole marathon of romantic movies for the rest of my life, and I'll be perfectly fine. But I also did that because I love. Like, I love seeing how a happy ending happened. I love seeing how somebody noticed something and then realized that, like, you know, you've been my heart forever, and I'm just now noticing. And so I was just like, yes, go ahead. Like, I love love. I love love. And when I was little, I would say, when did I, like, I want to say, like, middle school. Well, I will say, like, in elementary school, I learned love early on, because I remember there was one time that there were twins, which are my, like, brothers now. I love them. That's what I love about love as well. Like, I'm so happy that I still have them in my life. But there was these twin brothers that, like, they were, like, I guess the cool kids in school, and so they're like, oh my gosh, you know, if you go out with one of them, like, you're the cool person, or blah blah blah. And I remember one time there was two of us competing for one of the twins. I don't even know why I gave the time of day to these things, but, like, I was a young child. And she ended up being the first one to give him a kiss. And so like my heart was broken because it was just like, she got the kiss, that means she gets the boy. Like, but I'm so thankful because like I've been in so many situations where like I'm not the chosen one, but because I have not been the chosen one, I have this amazing relationship with the guy.
Where's she at?
I don't know. I don't know.
Who won in the end?
I don't know. But no, yeah, I hear you. And that happened in elementary school. And like, I will say, like, I'm also the type of person that when it comes to reading and film, I'm very big on analyzing. Like, I will be the type of person that, like, if I'm watching a rom-com and she's wearing red, it's because of a reason. Like, or any type of, actually not too much rom-com, but like film in general. Like, I'm an overthinker and an overanalyzer. And because I'm an overthinker and overanalyzer, I would pick up on every little thing and be like, he's looking at me like that, that means he likes me. so like I would go through phases in elementary school where like I was in love with everybody. Like I literally was just like, oh, he looked at me like that, that means he likes me. And so I would spend all third grade like fantasizing about this little kid because like he looked at me. He probably was taking something out of his eye and I was looking at it like, oh, he was winking at me.
The difference for me in terms of that is I had a lot of crushes on people, but I never thought someone would like me. So like I liked myself, but I also thought I was extremely ugly. So I was just like, I thought I was ugly. I thought like no one could be with me, and my mom also struck a little fear in me, saying I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend until I was 18. So I just assumed no one ever liked me. Yeah. But I liked a lot of people.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. And then I think in middle school, that's when I like kicked in because like in middle school, that's when I started doing poetry. When I learned about poetry, I was just like, I can put thoughts into how I'm feeling, and I'm just like, you know, the petals are falling because my heart is falling because he didn't look at me a certain way. Like I'm a weird, till this day, such a weird child, and so therefore like you can just imagine how my love life was non-existent, but like in my head how my love life was. And it's just like I still to this day have diaries of all of the times that I would write about a kid in either middle school or high school, and I'm just like doodling 5 pages about this kid, and he probably doesn't even know I exist.
Or he probably liked you and never told you, because that happens a lot too. And be like, you couldn't have told me back then when I was feeling you.
Exactly. And so like I am a hopeful romantic. Okay. I am a hopeful romantic in all the sometimes good ways and sometimes bad ways. And so like once I learned about poetry, all of my poems were just about love and love and love and love and love and love. And so I think that my first boyfriend, so I don't consider high school boyfriends. So I guess my first boyfriend was in college, but like the boo things that you have in high school, like it was literally virtual. Like once we had AIM, it was horrible, because AIM, you could just, you know, talk to this person for thousands and thousands. Yes.
You did this, so I'm like, you had a sidekick.
Oh yeah, a little flippy.
I never got one. I was always envious.
Yeah. So like, I was definitely the type of child that like had crushes on everybody and their mama, and like dreamed up things that like never existed, but my mind wandered because of poetry and writing and all that jazz and movies. But then I grew up and I think I've even come to the point where like I'm acknowledging the fact that being in love and loving someone and having love for someone are 3 different things.
Right.
And just like even acknowledging that part, I'm in just that space of just like that it's a lot. And then I'm also coming to terms with just like, you know, I was having a conversation with my friend and coming to terms that like I'm in a space where I don't need a relationship, but I would like a relationship. if that makes sense.
Right.
And I think that I was living in the childhood life of like, we need a relationship, we need this person, this other person's gonna complete us, and like coming to terms with like create this relationship or bond with someone where you're where they're complimenting you versus completing you. And I'm still learning and growing about love when it comes to romantic, but I'm also appreciating all of my girlfriends. Like, I'm also in a point where the girlfriends that I have and the love that they give me and the love that I give them shows so much to how I want to be loved when it comes to a partner, whoever it is that I end up with. And it's just like, me seeing the love of my family, me seeing the love of my friends speaks to how I want to be treated when it comes to a romantic relationship. And it's just like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. I think that when I think about love and the like most genuine, purest love, it's definitely like my siblings and I have like a love and loyalty that's just freaking insane. And then like friends, like especially the girlfriends I have in my life, like I think we say we love each other more than anyone else in my life says they love me. You know what I mean? So like learning from there and kind of just, I think from there is where I learned to be open and show love. Because you want your friends to know how you feel about them, because it's so easy for you to lose each other in that sense of how are we friends, and that happens. And the older you get, you learn, you really appreciate those people that are still by your side and have been by your side in terms of friends. I think it's a lot easier at our age to like have people that are staying around and have been around, and you don't want to lose them. And if you do lose them, it's like worse than a regular relationship breakup.
Friendship breakups?
Oh man, all the trust issues, tears, I've been through it, so I know what it feels like. And then just that, it's just hard. So like learning from there, it's just that what do you get? I've learned to be more open and expressive when I do really love someone.
Vulnerable.
Yeah, sure. Vulnerable. And that's something that's big for me. I have had to learn to be vulnerable and show that even in the moments where I'm like, let me suck it up and just like, gas them a little bit just because, I want him to know he is amazing, even though my sarcasm sometimes doesn't help with that. So like putting all of that aside and really being like very genuine and vulnerable about how I do feel, how they make me feel, what I want and from our relationship, but what I want to work on myself to make sure we can get further and do further, because it goes both ways. And acknowledging that the work I also put in and want to put into the relationship. I think the biggest thing for me is if I really think to myself, I really want to work on myself for you, I must really like you.
Hey.
Because most of the time, I'm just like, I'm amazing. So if you even catch my attention, you're welcome.
If you even catch my attention, no thank you, you're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. But then when someone's around that I really I love, I want around, I've learned to definitely say it and show it. That's why I was like, I'm not running through airports. Like, I'm making sure you know.
From the beginning, so when you leave the airport, you already know and you're filled with
We're going on that plane together. We're going on this trip together. We are vacationing, okay?
Vacation. Ayy. But I will say, I definitely understand in the sense of like that bond when it comes to the friends. And like, I just want to like shout out to the roof that like, also not only are you learning how you want to love somebody by the love that you've received or lack of love that you've received, but also by the love that you give. Like, right. I feel like I tweeted this once, or maybe I thought I wanted to tweet it and I just probably didn't, but like, I love to love. And so speaking on like anybody who is a friend of mine, like I can love in such a crazy, beautiful way. And it's because I love you for that way, because I want to be loved in that same way as well. So like, I also, in the same way of like, be open to give, to open to receive. I also try to do that same way of just like, lead by example. If you are loving in that way, hopefully the contagiousness will rub off and they will love you in that way as well. You shouldn't expect it, but yeah, because I don't want to say that like because I'm doing that like I expect you to love me that way either. No, I'm not saying that, but I pour into because I also want to be poured onto.
I get it. And speaking on that, I got a postcard from Iris last week in the mail with a stamp. And it's adulting at its finest when I'm like, damn, she really used a stamp on me. Like, that's love. That's caring. Like, you really used a stamp on me when you see me all the time. Like, that is caring. That's, going beyond just hanging out and texting and talking and tweeting and sending each other memes, which is also a whole big love language.
Yes.
But, like, you going and handwriting me a note and mailing it to me. So, like, that's really fucking awesome. In terms of reciprocating, reciprocate in my way, somehow.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it is very much appreciated, and you are definitely great at that shit. Not shit, great at that.
Thank you. And so I also wanted to like really talk about when it comes to the love and how people perceive it as well. I think that like I have become more and more around men, I will say, that are quick to be like, oh, well, since Valentine is here, let me try to pick a fight with bae or boo or someone like that so that like I don't have to spend my money on them, and or bae, I don't do I was gonna say Halloween. I don't do Valentine's Day because
don't do Halloween. We got a big problem.
Facts. I don't do Valentine's because it's a capitalistic holiday and they just want to get our money. Blah 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 blah. I'd love your take on that.
Is that coming back to me?
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of for our generation in general, we've learned that it's just a very different way of approaching love and relationships in general.
Yeah.
And even as we're growing, it's still a lot of people in our age bracket is still in the same sense. Like still kind of think the same. I think we're starting to age into like when we find a person, we're gonna stick with them and we want that, but still like it has to happen instantly. It's not like we're like I'm ready to be married, so like because I feel like there was a point in time that people are like, I'm ready to be married, so now I'm going to be like out there meeting people for the intention of being married.
Yeah.
I think we're just out there, and if it happens and you meet someone and it's just like, okay, now we can build something if we feel that way.
Yeah.
But definitely a big sense of like people not being in relationships at all.
Yeah.
Not getting into relationships. Just
millennials.
Yeah, just dating around, not even dating around, having fun and stuff like that. So then when it comes to Valentine's Day, there's a lot of jokes about like, who is actually going to be taken out on Valentine's Day, who's going to be taken out the next day, and if you are taken out the next day,
what does that mean?
Where do you stand with this person? And then also the expectation of how people treat Valentine's Day. Sometimes people just want to be like best dressed, out to eat, spend all this money, make something extravagant, but that doesn't mean all relationships are that way.
Yeah.
And I feel like social media, obviously everyone's putting their best and brightest out there, so you're going to see the people's homes that are like 100% like covered in roses and like candles all over the place, and that's beautiful, that's great, but that's not what I expect or want. Like I think in terms of Valentine's Day, I think it's beautiful. I think people always say, oh, you're supposed to show your love 365 a year. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
But having a designated day that people can just kind of focus and pay attention, I think is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
And it's not just in relationships, but one of my other favorite times of the year in school, everyone bringing each other cards, getting candy, like just the fun behind that. It's fun. It's just another way to celebrate something, and this time we're actually celebrating love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I get it. the cards, the candy plays into the capitalistic idea, but if you can take that moment to make someone feel good, especially if someone you want to make feel happy with these things, it shouldn't be a worry about being capitalistic. I think if you feel like you have to get all these things to prove a point, then maybe there's something in your relationship that you have to check. Why is all of this giving it so much value? And why is this so, like, today is so important that you have to do all these specific things in this relationship?
Yeah.
I think just the gift of anything, your time, anything, honestly. It doesn't have to be, like, for me, it doesn't have to be this extravaganza, but just knowing that, like, it's still a day that we just want to take out and show love to people around us, and romantic, platonic, everything. I feel like we need some things designated sometimes because we are a capitalistic society. We're always moving, we're always working, and, you know, for some of us that it's not natural to take the time out to show this love, this day is a day that we're like, you know what, today I feel like I need to do this. And as long as you're good with it and you're happy and you want to show this love, then why not? Like, that's how I feel about it. I think Valentine's is beautiful. I think everyone can have fun from it. Everyone can enjoy it. And I think that there shouldn't be so much pressure on doing all these things for someone. I think it should just be in the intent of just making people happy and showing people love.
I agree, and I think that as you were saying that, the first thing that popped into my head is love language. Because I think that, like, when I mentioned, like, oh, you know, let me create a fight with my girls or with my boo or with my side chick, so I don't have to spend money.
It's like, why is that your chick then if you don't want to do that with her?
If you're thinking that, then, like, you shouldn't even be in that relationship.
And if that's what she wants and that's her love language, then it's not.
Exactly. And it's also very much like, who is to say that, like, in this relationship she actually wants you to spend money? Because, to be completely honest, Valentine's Day will be perfect if you know your partner's love language, if you understand what they love and how they want to be loved, and you can find a way to do it without spending money. And so
and y'all can talk about it. Like, it's not this like taboo thing that I can't be like, so what do you like to do for Valentine's Day? Like, you can ask, you can talk about it.
Conversation is key. And so my thought process of just, like, you know, someone saying, like, you know, let me pick a fight, and or, oh, like, I don't buy into the capitalistic idea, that's you being lazy. That's you being lazy as fuck. And on top of that, it's also speaking
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And it's also speaking to the lack of knowledge or awareness that you have with maybe that relationship. Because yes, the person might be like, I'm just assuming, this is also an assumption, like, majority of the people are like, oh, I need to buy flowers, this, and this, so, like, a lot of money will go into it. But again, like I said, if you find the right way to, if you know their love language, you can do it and figure out something without spending money and without forcing it and, like, cutting your pockets.
And if you think it's a capitalistic holiday, then find you someone that agrees. And it's fine. Like, you don't have to agree with it. You don't have to love it. You don't have to want to do it. Don't be Scrooge and be grumpy about it. Like, then that means maybe you want a little loving on Valentine's Day. But in the terms of, like, you don't agree with it, you don't want to celebrate it in this way, you don't have to. Then pick whatever your anniversary is and do what you want to do. Like, it doesn't have to be specific to Valentine's Day, but just that idea of, like, it's capitalistic. Okay, but people are enjoying themselves. So let people enjoy themselves. Half your Facebook friends and Instagram friends are going to get engaged. Don't be like, oh, everyone gets engaged Valentine's Day. They're engaged. They're happy. Let it be. Like, let people be happy. And that's how I see it. If it's not for you, then find you someone that ain't for them either. And then y'all can just go hate people together on Valentine's Day. Just do it together and let other people just enjoy themselves. Yeah. And in terms of what else? So it's a capitalistic idea, and then break up with your girl. Don't get a girl if that's the goal. Every holiday, birthdays, make sure we argue so you don't have to get a gift. Because, like, the intent is not feeling like I have to do this for something. It's feeling like, or for someone, it's feeling like I want to do this for someone. So, like, if you don't want to do it, why are you with them? And if it's just for you to get what you want out of it, then y'all not in a relationship. You're just being selfish, getting what you want, and maybe they're doing the same thing. Then if y'all being selfish, getting what y'all want out of it, if y'all don't want to do gifts, why we gotta fight so we don't do gifts? Just don't do gifts. You don't have to play into the status quo. But if she's or he's feeling like this is a relationship and is expecting this thing, and you don't want to do that, then maybe you need to evaluate that whole thing.
This makes me think of, I had an amazing conversation with our sponsor, Beads by Troken, Czar. I was sitting down with him, and he sat down and was just like, you need to understand that when you are in a relationship, you ultimately don't owe that person anything. Like, you in a relationship, just because you are in a relationship with someone does not mean that you owe them anything. In you loving that person and pouring onto them, you can choose to do some of these things because you love them, but not because you're obligated and you need to do these things. And so, like, I thought it was a refreshing thought of just like, you know, you should be pouring into it because you want to pour into it, not because you feel like it needs to be poured into.
Right. There shouldn't have to be a need. It's a want when it comes to relationships and being with people. But I mean, that's that for me.
Yeah.
It's straightforward. People just enjoy yourself, be happy in whatever way makes you happy, as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting someone else.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll say is when it comes to love, damn, did I just lose it? I was saying that, like, you pour onto it because you want to. Damn, I lost it.
We'll probably come back.
But, like, I think the whole point was just, like, love is about what makes you happy, and I lost it.
Well, we'll find it probably through the process of talking about love.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I love you, though.
I love you, too.
Okay. I thought we needed to express that on this episode. I do genuinely love you, Iris. Like, you're like family, so.
Yeah. I love you, too. And I love loving people, and I love saying it, too. Like, I feel like...
I don't remember the last time I've told you that, if I've ever. So, I mean, we're doing it right now.
It's been a while,
okay.
yeah.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Okay, you haven't physically said it.
Okay.
You know, because sometimes you can love someone in ways that doesn't specifically say I love you.
True. But it's also nice to hear.
Yeah. Because I feel like have you eaten today is
definitely
a I love you, or I got you lunch today. Why am I always talking about food? But like.
Because food is my love language, and your like food should be an official love language. And I tweeted about this recently. There's someone that tweeted about how she loves that she'll think of something she wants to eat, and her husband just automatically kind of wants the same thing, or like he'll be like, "What you want?" And he'll be like, "I'm thinking this," and she's like, "I've been thinking that." Like they kind of match in that sense. So I retweeted and I was like, honestly, one of the biggest things for me is compatibility when it comes to food. Mm-hmm. You both love the same things, or you both are willing to try new things is really, really beautiful.
Yeah.
But like, I can't date someone that don't like half the things or most of the things I don't like. We're going out to eat for what? I can't pick from your plate because it's probably crap because you don't like what I like. You can't pick from me. And the whole order your own food, I order my own food, and we don't share, don't work.
For you.
I'm ordering with you in mind, just like I hope you're ordering with me in mind too. Yeah. Like we get what we really like, but it's always like, try this. Like this is mad good. Like try this. Yeah. So for me, food is definitely a big love language. Like
I agree, and I would say I got that from my dad. My dad is a type of man that does not use his words. Like, we'll get into an argument and have a whole fight, and his way, which is not healthy, but this is where he's at, is that his way of saying sorry is buying food and then pretending like nothing ever happened. So he'll buy food, or he'll bring food, and he'll be like, I got you food, Iris. Obviously, my ass is coming outside to eat some food.
Taking that. Okay, you're sorry. Okay, we're good.
And and any time that he would leave the house and then come back, he always, and that's one thing I love about him, is that, like, regardless of where he went and if he went with us or not, he will bring some food back and make sure that, like, oh, I'm going to save this for my kids, or, oh, I'm going to make sure that, like, if I'm at someone's house and I'm at a party, let me call up Iris to see if she's alive so that she can come eat. Or, like, if my dad is grilling, he'll call up my brothers and be like, yo, like, you guys aren't home, but I'm grilling, come over, blah, blah. So, like, food is definitely a love language for me because of the way that my dad uses food to love us.
Honestly, food's great, so I can understand. And just like bringing the right foods for the right moments and just understanding, like, you don't feel okay, I know what food you like that will make you feel better. Like, things like that, I feel are like, yeah, in general, food's great. Yeah. Anything you want to add from Conversations from the Soul?
I don't think so. I feel like we could have delved into love in so many other ways as well, but we're here.
It can go good and it can go bad, so it's probably best that it went the way it went. But for me, just the ultimate thing about love and Valentine's Day is just love. Be open to it. Be healthy with it.
Be healthy
and
with love.
Just enjoy yourself, and ultimately just do shit that makes you happy. So if it ain't for you, it ain't for you. If it's for you, it's for you. That's it.
I think the last thing I'll say, I feel like I said this already, the last thing that will be, make sure that before you can fully love someone else, you are pouring into your cup and fully understanding who you are and understanding your love language and understanding your attachment, your styles of attachments and wow, and really figuring out also the way that, like, we didn't delve into it too much, but just understanding the relationship that you had with your parents and the relationship that you had with your family to fully understand how you love. Because I also, going really quickly, really figured out a little bit more of my attachment with attachment theories because of the way that my family was, and I only figured that out once I was talking with someone and realizing, oh shit, I'm doing this to this person because my parents did that to them. And really fully understanding who you are and how you affect another person before, like, fully investing in a relationship. Like, you really need to be healthy in such an emotional, mental, and physical space to, like, really fully be able to give to someone else. Not saying that you do not have to be completely healed to be able to give love and to be able to be in a relationship, but you also do need to be in a state of mind where you know your mental, your physical, and emotional health is in progress to be able to fully be present in a relationship with somebody else. And so fully understand that. Like, really, really pay attention to the relationship that you had with your parents, relationship that you had with whoever your caretaker was, because that will also very much bleed through the relationships that you are with whoever you are at the moment.
And if you have no clue how or why or whatever, get you a therapist. Honestly. Because we don't got the answers, but we at least know the minimum of what's what's right and what's wrong. But just, like, get you a therapist, and that's another thing that you need to do in your life to be healthy. You want to eat well, you want to do all those things, but you're struggling in those aspects, you don't get it, you're traumatized, get you a therapist.
Yeah, I will say, I told myself that before I ever get married to somebody, we both need to have gone through therapy individually, and we need to also go into marriage counseling or marriage therapy, because I need to fully know that, like, we good before I invest in such a, like, money related and other ways of bond. If that makes sense.
Pretty smart. And then you're probably going to learn a lot about each other that you wouldn't have learned otherwise.
Exactly.
And, yeah, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I might have to do the same.
Yeah.
But that is our Conversations from the Soul. Honestly, love is so broad and there's so much to say.
Yeah.
And all the beautiful and bad things about it. But leaving on the most beautiful notes of it all. Love is beautiful. Let's just
pour out love.
And we just work our way into stepping into you.
Yes. And I think that I love how we ended it with therapy, because, like, stepping into you is just a continuation of, hopefully in stepping into you, we are working on self. We are giving you reflection questions, giving you things to think about from our conversations from the soul, to further investigate, to further analyze, to like remind ourselves that like every single day is a way, there is a chance for you to step more into who you truly are. And the question really is, for stepping into you, is have you fully sat down and analyzed the various loves that are around you? Have you sat down and acknowledged what was the love that I received when I was a child? What was the love that I received from my family? What was the love that I received from my siblings? What is the love that I received from my friends? And really analyzing the type of love that you receive versus also the love that you give. Because I think stepping into you and when it comes to love, I'm always about further exploring who you are and further exploring how you can be better, because there's always space to evolve, always space to be better. And so I think the first step is really paying attention to what is here now. How would you describe the relationship with your family? How would you describe the relationship with your friends? And how would you describe that in consequence with your love language? And so if you don't know what love languages are, look into it. There's a test that you can figure out your top love language, and love language is the way that you want to be loved. And they are receiving gifts, words of affirmation, acts of service, physical touch, and quality time. Whew, got that.
That's the only one I could think of. So I'm like, if she doesn't say that one, then she really got this down packed. Like,
and so those are the 5 different types of ways that you can be loved. And so if you do not know about love language,
food should be on the list.
Oh yeah, receiving gifts. And so I would say start off by figuring out and taking the test. What is your top love language, so that you also can step into any type of relationship, from a platonic relationship to a brother relationship to a romantic relationship, and you can step into already like steps ahead to letting them know like, hey, this is the way that I actually like to be loved. Like, this is the way that I like to be appreciated, specifically because you can be the type of person that like, I'll give Daphne gifts every single day, and this is me pouring love into her. And if she is not, and if her top love language is not gifts, she's not going to feel loved. She's never going to feel loved or appreciated by me, because that's not what she is, what her heart actively wants to fill it up. Mm-hmm. And so I think the first step is, if you haven't figured it out yet, what are your love languages? And then 2, really dissecting and figuring out what is the type of love that you have been receiving from your friends and from your family, and how does that play into the love that you give?
Right.
Yeah.
Step nicely into that. I guess for stepping into you, I think that is a great way to go about it, and it's part of learning yourself, right?
Exactly.
It's really learning how you deal with things and handle things, and love is part of it. So I hope y'all do your homework.
And then from stepping into you, we go on to fashion forward.
Yay! So, with being back in season 2 and reflecting on season 1, honestly, with time constraints and really what we were putting into season 1, I didn't go so hard on fashion forward at all. I barely even did it. I skipped it all the time. But the intent from going forward is really working on fashion forward, presenting something, talking about something, and really finally, like, you know, letting you guys see, I guess, the fashion that's in me. I don't know. I love fashion. I love a lot of things that go into clothing and getting dressed. And my ultimate motto is, if you look good, you feel good. And it's not just for anyone else. I honestly love to look good for myself. And if I feel like I'm looking good that day, I'm feeling amazing all day. And the compliments are just a plus, but ultimately just me being happy within myself. You know what I'm saying? So with today's episode, and it being, first of all, Black History Month. So we're only talking about all things Black this month when it comes to fashion forward. And to be honest, if it ain't Black, I'm probably not talking about it. Just because I'm Black AF and I love Black people, and we're just going to highlight Black people because they deserve our coin. that next check that I'm waiting for. You know, I'm trying to help the economy and help my Black people at the same time. So, with fashion forward this first go around, I wanted to highlight being at home, being on social media, just like all the entrepreneurs kind of blowing up on social media, catching up with like a lot of brands that are really growing and building. And the biggest way that I've kind of had like what's been catching my eye has been handbags. Of course, the internet's listen to you and they clearly know what I'm looking for. So I've been just coming across so many different Black-owned businesses or Black-owned handbag businesses that have really nice styles, really good quality, look real good, and honestly, where we should be spending our coin, because just because it's Black-owned doesn't mean it's whatever. Like, it's Black-owned, it's quality, it's made for us, it's made by us, and it should be a staple like any other rando brand out there that we don't name because we talk about them today. So I wanted to name 2 brands first because I own them and I bought them because, you know, we buy in Black. 2 of like my favorites that I have come across on social media and have kept up with are, if you don't know, you should know, Brandon Blackwood is probably like really blowing up on social media.
Yeah.
And his bags are really nice. He's really amazing. I mean, he even reposted me or whatever, but I just been a fan since I kind of started catching on to his brand. And he does a lot of work that is for us too. So I got this little trunk bag that is like one of my favorites, but my biggest thing about him and the bags is he owns this bag. He created. He does own it though, because you know it's his. But like we own it now because we bought it. But he has a line of bags that say "End Systemic Racism" on them, and he's come out with so many different ones that are they kind of like a tan color, different kind of textures. And his newest collection are all satin bags in so many different bright colors. This one I'm actually giving to my younger sister because it's her birthday today. She don't know it yet.
Hey.
And there's like lip gloss in here for her too.
Hey.
But she loves blue and she loves to be gifted things that are blue. It's just her thing. And I can't wait to give this to her. I saw that she followed him too. So I was like, word, you about that life. And some of the proceeds from the satin collection went to Black Girls Code and another charity, but I don't remember right now, which is really unfortunate. But I'll tag it when we post about it. But his bags are really nice. I've been putting some people on. People have put me on. People have put me on, and I've just been really happy and excited to see him growing, people buying his bags. The quality is amazing. So Brandon Blackwood's my first one. He's legit, and I'm giving my sister this one, and he's launching his last collection of the End Systemic Racism bags in April. So like,
woo, y'all better be ready because that's gonna be sold out.
Right, so it's like I can give this to her because I have one more chance, but I will get my next one and give this to her because I'm sure she'll love it. And then other brands that we might know of that I don't have with me, but I haven't bought yet. We'll get there. Waiting for that stimmy. But I'm real. So I caught onto this brand. It's called Myth House. It's actually from Ghana. They make these like square shape. There is different shape, but they're like metal framed bags.
Okay.
And they're really, really beautiful. So if you check out Myth House on Instagram, you know, get to know them, buy from them. That's like my next go-to that I'm looking for, even though half the bags I want are sold out, which is a beautiful thing, but you know, I'm trying to get mine too. There's another one called Yeba Official, so it's YEBA, so Yeba.official on Instagram. They have beautiful bags that I'm just trying to be about soon. And then there's another one that's Kejeo Designs, Kejeo, and they have a lot of like African printed bags, so like a lot of different colors, a lot of different styles and shape, and very definitely, like you can tell, it's an African-owned brand, and it's just beautiful. That's another one I have saved on Instagram. And then I have this brand called it's JUMZ, so Jums, I believe, and it is also Black-owned. The bags actually come from Nigeria. They come in so many shapes, so many colors and textures.
This is beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful though?
I'm here for it.
Oh, they all have crossbodies, and I'm going on that vacation, so they're all coming with me minus her. And I'm just happy that I caught on to brands that are cute, beautiful, that I would want to buy from regardless and support and look fly in. who else am I missing on these brands?
Of black-owned handbags?
Yeah, because I'm missing the one that has been... Oh, Telfar. Who am I? I'm ashamed. Telfar, you know why I forgot them? Because they always be selling out, and every time I'm trying to get a bag, I can never get one. That's great for them, but I'm just trying to get mine. But Telfar has blown up like they deserve. All the bags are beautiful, the colors are beautiful, and all the ladies are loving it. All the people are loving it, let's be real. So they're also on the list. I just gotta... When I know they're going to drop the color I want, I set my alarm because they usually drop at 9 a.m. Eastern. So I got to set that alarm, have my cart and everything ready. So I just got to submit, press and pay for it to get my bag. Because, girl, it's been a struggle. But for Fashion Forward, it's just really talking about, like, buying black, buying from these brands. And it's just not... I'll get there, girl.
Okay.
It's just not about, like, oh, I'm buying black to buy black. Like, these brands are legit. We don't have to explain ourselves, really. As black people, we have always been entrepreneurs, always been copied, really, and people always stealing what's ours because they have the money to back them up. But we need to back up our black-owned brands so they have the money to keep making things for us, by us, you know what I'm saying? FUBU. And before I move on, because I'm wearing a t-shirt that I actually got from, my friend calls her Fifi, so I believe it's Love Fifi, but Love Fifi, Lovefifih. She has like an athleisure brand. She sells like gym clothing, different like gym equipment type of stuff. And she actually partnered with Kriala Spa, which is a nonprofit that does a lot of events and a lot of help within the Cape Verdean community to actually create this t-shirt that says, I am Cabo Verdean, I am African, I am black. And the back does say, Black Lives Matter, if the shot can see it. And as soon as I saw that the shirt was going to drop, I definitely was going to buy it. But all of the proceeds from the t-shirt actually went to Fam for Change, which is a youth mentoring group out of the city of Brockton, which is freaking amazing. So I was like, I'm supporting so many people from my community with this. And it's also fly as hell and it's real as hell because it's the truth. Just saying. But also wanted to shout them out for the t-shirt. And Beads by Troken, of course. And I'm wearing Conta Dojo because, you know, Cape Verde and SF. We already had this conversation, but...
Brockton-based, black-owned
luxury jewelry.
Yeah. Exactly.
Luxury jeweler. So support him, buying black, and it's fly. And he puts a lot of work into... his pieces, and it's not just a lot of work, it's a lot of quality. And when we say it's luxury, it's really luxury. The work he puts behind it is for you to be luxurious. It is luxurious. So that's Fashion Forward.
Yeah. Yay. And then I guess I'll say, if we're doing Black History Month of just black owned beautifulness, I would say also our amazing, lovely Valentine's Day specific glasses were made by a black owned artist named Jamal Bonnet, who also made these lovely paintings that we have in the back, and he does custom made glasses,
wine glasses,
shot cups, and he does them with the stem and without the stem, and he's been doing this for a little while now. It's been picking up, and a lot of people have been trying to get some glasses for themselves. And so again, with the theme of black owned and black businesses, another artist
to support.
Yeah.
We're surrounded by some talented people, man. I mean, we talented, but we surrounded by some artists.
And so with that, I think we'll end it off with our last one, resonating with she. And Daphne, what's been resonating with you lately?
For me, I've been definitely deep diving into Afro beats, which I have a whole playlist. I'm always in there. You be watching people on Spotify, so you be seeing what people listen to. So you know I'm probably always in my... It's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm always in my playlist that I made, and Afrobeats are definitely like one of my favorite genres of music, and it's uplifts me, makes me happy, makes me want to party and all that. So like I've definitely been in that bag as always. So I wanted to shout out the artist Thames, I believe. It's Tems. Okay. Thames, I am so sorry, girl. I think we would be really good friends, even though I don't know if I'm saying your name right. But voice is amazing. Amazing. And I've been like kind of in a rabbit hole of her music just because she has just a beautiful voice. So the song that's like one of my favorites I love all of them, but one that's called Iced Tea is like one of my favorites. And just the lyrics in there are really beautiful. And she just talks about, like she's making lemonade from like your lemons, like just that. I wish I had the exact like line, but it's such a good song. So that's one of my favorites right now. And then as I was actually coming here, I was listening to a different playlist trying to catch on to what's new, and I heard a song called Senorita by Ravani. And I've already known about him. He has a beautiful voice. That song was good, but then this artist that was featured on it, his name is Gims, has a beautiful deep voice, and he sings in French. And I heard a song months ago with him on it, and like I stopped whatever I was doing because his voice. And then today as I was driving here and I was listening to the song and his voice came out again, I like was like, wait, it has to be featuring this person, but what's this person's name again? And I looked it up. So Senorita by Rivani featuring Gims is such a good song. I actually shared it on my Twitter because I was like, people gotta listen. Positivity on my Twitter. And then I guess other than that, I just wanted to say like rest in peace to Cicely Tyson. I had actually ordered her book the day before she passed. Like I saw that her memoir was dropping. I was like, I need to have her memoir. Wow. I ordered it in the day after she passed away. So it was like, for me, it was like, I'm buying this book of this living legend. I'm going to read about her life and she's still here. And she's, and then the next day she passed and I was just like, honestly, it's sad that she passed. But if there's anyone that's lived an amazing, beautiful life in our eyes, it's her. And she's literally the legend, a legend. So her book is definitely going to hit different. I haven't read it yet since I'm driving for my trip, so that's what I want to save it for, to be reading while we're driving. And her memoir is called Just As I Am, and the cover is beautiful, and it actually looks like a very easy read as I flip through it. And I just can't wait to read it, and it definitely hits different. So
nice. Resonating with me. For me, what has been resonating for me? I think that I have been resonating with words of affirmation. I really am being much more mindful of the words that I'm saying, the words that I'm hearing, and the words that are around me. So if you see my room, I usually do Sunday tarot spread every Sunday, and I set up my yoga mat so that like literally when I get off my bed, the yoga mat just chills there. And so I'll sit on my yoga mat, and then I'll also have mirrors. I have this weird obsession of collecting mirrors that are thrown away. So anytime I see a mirror out and about, I will literally stop the car and put the mirror in my car.
I've experienced this. And I did not get my ass out of the car. I was like, Iris, you're going to do this on your own because I'm not looking crazy.
But yes, so I have a bunch of mirrors in my room, and to the point that like I have them just chilling on the floor, like laying on the wall. And so as I get off the bed and onto the yoga mat, 2 mirrors are just right next to me. And so what I've been doing is that as I'm doing my spread and figuring out what the message is for the week, I use the mirror and a marker, a dry erase marker, to like write it down. And then I also have another section where I'm writing things down. So like I'm being much more intentional and mindful of the words that I am continuing to allow to see in my ether. And right now I would say, to go a little deeper in the sense of like what's resonating with she, for me, it's letting go of ego.
That's something I've tried to work on too. That's why it's so easy to be sarcastic and try to be funny, because I like play off my ego in that sense. But I definitely agree that's something that I've always thought about and trying to work on too. So yeah, Iris's room is like the coolest place ever. You go in there and you're just like, I could never just do this. But it just looks so good and beautiful. And she does have mirrors everywhere. But it's really cool. Just, I could just only imagine like trying to sleep at night on like an off day. And I just turn and I just catch myself in a reflection. I don't know how that would go. But she does have a lot of mirrors in her room. But I guess that's all for me.
Yeah.
We've made it through episode 1 of season 2. Look at us. we're still here, guys. Took us a little bit, but we're here. We needed a break, though.
Yeah, we definitely did. But we are happy that you made it this far. Because again, the time that you take to do any and everything is very intentional. So we appreciate the fact that you stayed all the way to the end and that you went on this journey with us. Your time is much appreciated and we loved every second of it, even though we don't know that you're actually watching. But if you share it with us and let us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what you thought was funny,
if you disagree.
Exactly, any of that. Just let us know what you thought about it. And thank you.
And I'm Daphny Emily.
And I'm Eerees Iris. He can listen, they can listen, but she is speaking.
She is speaking, and as I always try to say and always technically sometimes mess up, we might be one more drop in the ocean, but we just might be the last sip to quench your thirst. Oh, we taking sips. I forgot. Hold cheers.